Welcome one and all to Influence Music Podcast, exploring new music and making connections back to previous musical generations via panel debates, conversations and interviews with artists, enthusiasts and media insiders. Welcome one and all to Influence Music Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Williams. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Today is our Carnival special. Due to the fact there is no Notting Hill Carnival this year and we're all missing it desperately, we decided to have an episode just talking about our experiences, what Carnival means to us and a bit of the history of Carnival. So I decided to bring in my two friends to talk about our experiences. Firstly, I'd like to introduce music enthusiast, raving buddy, Big G. G, how are you today, George? You good?
I'm good. Thank you for having me back on again.
Thank you for joining us. And my regular co-host, friend, music artist, radio show host, general nice guy, Mark Anthony. Mark, what's happening?
All good, man. Thanks for having me back on the show also.
So, like I said, we're going to be talking about Notting Hill Carnival. We're all Londoners by birth, and our growing up experience has always involved the Notting Hill Carnival. I went to my first carnival when I was 4. I don't remember it, but my parents took me, and I pretty much went every year from that point until my late teens, early 20s. It has evolved over the years. It has become a music event rather than an event of culture, in my opinion. We're going to just talk through the history and our experiences and the evolution of Carnival. So, you guys always been Carnival fans?
Most definitely. So my first memories of going to Carnival was with my younger brother and my mum. And again, I must have been about 4 or 5 years old. And yeah, you know, I used to go every single year, probably up until about maybe 10, 15 years ago, where I've only been a couple of times. But yeah, I got some brilliant memories of Carnival. But admittedly, I think most of my memories of Carnival are probably more of the old school memories rather than, you know, like the modern day carnivals. Because as I said, I've not really been that often in the past 10 years. But yeah, Carnival, whilst I was growing up, represented exactly the music I was brought up listening to, like soca, calypso, reggae, even, you know, rare groove, lovers rock. And Carnival for me, although I'm probably going back to, you know, like the 80s and 90s, my memories of Carnival are more kind of like, you know, in that period rather than, say, the last 10 years.
Yeah, I would say that's true for me as well. I mean, for those people that have never been or do not know about the Notting Hill Carnival, I'm sure there are a few people out there, if not many. Notting Hill Carnival started in 1966. It's a carnival, or has always been a carnival, led by the members of the British West Indian community to kind of give a cultural experience to those from the community and for those outside the community. Always been music based. Now, as Mark said there, when we say Caribbean, most people immediately think of Jamaica, but the reggae aspect of it in terms of music would be Jamaica. But the soca calypso aspect of it is what we would call the small island people. So all those other islands like Trinidad, Barbados, they generally gravitate towards the calypso in the early days more so than they did the reggae. And even so, the reggae kind of varies as well because we've got numerous genres within the reggae environment. Like Mark said, you've got dub, which is more of an electronic, repetitive, kind of heavy bassline music, which I suppose is made relevant by King Tubby in the 60s and 70s. You've got your roots reggae, which is more kind of a subgenre that based around the roots and culture and African descendants and the Rastafari beliefs. You've got your lovers rock, which is my personal favourite, which is British London-based reggae. It's those reggae rhythms that rock steady, but with kind of more of a British R&B vibe on top of it. And then you go straight into the dancehall, which is the music also known as the ragga, which is the music straight out the clubs, which is what we would know really today as modern day reggae music, I suppose. So over the years, like Mark said, we have seen a massive evolution from it being a road march to then having the sound system aspect of it, to that sound system aspect of it expanding to BBC One Extra, Kiss FM, Rampage, all these big sound systems that play all genres of music. So now it's just like, I kind of feel like it's a celebration of multicultural London more than it is a West Indian carnival. Although there's many aspects of it that are still West Indian, such as Red Stripe, Akin Saltfish, the floats, the dancers. So
food school, the food schools.
Exactly. But my experience of it is the same as you. I would say my experience would be from the 80s to the early 2000s. I think when we started seeing sets by acts like the Heartless Crew, was when I stopped going to Carnival. Not because I didn't like them, but because I was already into the kind of garage scene and doing that instead. Another Londonite, George, what was your experience of Carnival?
I think pretty much the same as both of you said. I mean, I was going from about around the age of 10 to Carnival. Being from West London, it was always, it's always been on my doorstep. And having family who live smack bang in Latimer Road, which is part of the Carnival where the floats used to start, etc. So I was always in and around there, and whenever you'd always look forward to August because for that whole weekend it was going to be one big party, not just on the streets with the Carnival, but with your family getting together and things like that. And I suppose that's my early memory of it, just going down, going around to the different sound systems, and most importantly, the food. Yeah. Ain't gonna lie, the food was quite important for me. I mean, the different sort of cultures, different foods that you'd find there, and it was also a chance to meet up with friends, and just kind of go about and just take it all in, really. And as I was growing, as I was getting older, I started to appreciate the music a bit more as I was getting older. And that's also as well, believe it or not, is when I really started getting into garage quite a lot. When they started having a lot of sound systems, you had what's it called? Who is it? You had not necessarily, you had garage stands here and there up in Powys Square, and places like Rampage and All Saints Road. They started playing garage, a bit of drum and bass, and the crowds there it was great. It was a good time. I mean, recently as I've got older, I haven't gone as much, but the Carnival is somewhere that has always something to look forward to, and it's always something I can always remember.
Do you know what? When I started to talk about or think about doing this episode, my first thought, going to be straight up to you guys and straight up to the listeners, is I went back to my teen years. So I'd say secondary years, yeah? So maybe 12 to kind of 16, where I basically went to Carnival to move up girls, like literally.
Yes,
just, do you know what? Carnival's coming, so now I need to get some fresh garms. I need to get the look. I don't want to look like I'm overdressed, but I've got to look fly. We'd all get on the train together, 10, 15 man rolling up there together. Let's see if I can get a quick wine here, if I can get a quick wine there. But when I started to think into it more deeply, there was a massive cultural experience for me with Carnival, and it started a lot earlier than that. And it's because my granddad's from Grenada, so he's a small island guy, and he's soca and calypso mad. He always has been. And I have got no association to that music type whatsoever. Like, calypso isn't really a music for us as Brits or as Londoners. I was always exposed to the reggae aspect of the music, but not the calypso. And I think Carnival gave me that. Like, and if it wasn't for Carnival, I don't think I would ever know any of these calypso tracks. And you know what? If it wasn't for the dancers and the outfits, I don't think I'd even care either. But it kind of gave me something that I probably wouldn't have had anyway. But yeah, I think everybody's Carnival experiences starts with Carnival. If you're being honest with yourself, starts with Carnival when you went on your own. Like, I went with my mum and dad, but I don't have memories of that because you're just following what you're taught or what you're told. My experiences are getting the train, going up there with my men or my boys or whatever you want to call it, the man them, and then just having a laugh. Like, I always remember my mum saying to me, make sure you come home before Carnival ends because the trouble always starts after the Carnival. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like she said, once the carnival's done, you should be coming home. And after parties, like big shout out to Norman J MBE, who's famous for his carnival after party. But there's so many of them now, especially the one that Ministry was going down for quite a few years. That's always been at
some point there as well.
Who, sorry?
Twice as Nice had done that as well.
Exactly. So then it became, like you said, it became a thing. It wasn't just the carnival. It's like a whole weekend of experience.
Yeah.
And I think after they got the Virgin sponsorship, it's also a time to say, do you know what? I'm proud to be a Londoner. Like, it's an opportunity where we all come together, no matter what race, creed, colour. I mean, you can just say, I'm proud to be a Londoner. Just have a good party. I don't think we do that enough. And especially with the times, you know, the statement that we always make, especially with the unprecedented times that we're in now, in terms of health, social and economic. I can't wait till next year's carnival, bruv, because I'll be there. I wanna get on one. Like, I've been stuck in my house for the last 6 months. A carnival sounds good to me, and a couple of cans of Red Stripe.
Yeah, see, it's weird for me because, I mean, like yourself, Mark, I come from small island countries. You know, my mum is from Dominica, my dad was from St. Vincent. But the thing is, with my family, we did listen to soca and calypso non-stop. I remember being at the family parties, and us kids were expected to be in the corner scene but not heard, whilst, you know, all the elders were dancing to their calypso and their soca, and every now and then it would flip to, you know, Lovers Rock and stuff. And when I started going to the carnival, it was with the family. So it was from the age of like 4 or 5, right, probably up until the age of, I don't know, 14, 15, I used to go with the family. And then after the age of like 15, 16, I was then going with friends and stuff, and like my cousins and people like that. But the weird thing is, with garage music, as much as I loved garage music, and I still love garage music, I didn't really tune into garage through carnival, because I was doing that separately with, you know, my other set of friends. Yeah. So going to carnival for me was still kind of like, you know, going there for, I don't know if it's nostalgia, but going there to listen to the calypso, listen to the soca music and all the rest of it. And as big as, you know, the garage nights and the garage sound systems were in carnival, I didn't really tune into that through carnival. And I'd say most people my age would probably say different, like yourselves, you know, because, you know, you and both you and George talk about going to a lot of the garage sound systems and the garage nights and the after parties. And for some reason, I don't know, I just liken that experience to my separate nights when I used to go with other friends and stuff. But again, it's just people had different experiences, isn't it? It's just people's different experiences through the carnival. And I still listen to soca and calypso now, I guess, like in my own time sometimes.
Yeah, see, I was never from that sort of, you know, my parents are African, so it wasn't played in my house. But one thing, whenever you did go to it, it was such a vibe. It just made people move. The music makes them move, and just seeing, you know, people dancing in the excitement, and, you know, and it's like you said, it's everyone from all different nations and colours just all dancing to the same music. But
it's had a massive influence though on, I think, on the African community, and African communities had a massive influence on it. And if you look at it now, if you look at modern day carnival, just as much as it's a Caribbean carnival, it is a celebration of African music and modern day Africa as it is the Caribbean. And you see that so much in the music with the Afrobeat and the Alti and all those artists out there that are making those bangers.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
But the thing that I take from carnival the most is sound system culture, because like you said before, and I don't know if you listened to our previous garage episode, but go and have a listen. We're both garage heads, me and George, and if it wasn't for sound system culture, the garage format, the pay-as-you-go cartels, the Heartless Crews, the Soul Solids, the pirate radio stations, the raving brands were all set up as sound systems. Like, you found the one that was yours and you followed it. So if it wasn't for the sound system culture and carnival, I don't think it would ever have been like that.
Yeah, no, it was a platform for them to get out there to the thousands that are there. Yeah, it was a platform, and, you know, other than other than having it in a club where you'd have to pay and you'd have, there'd be issues with potential issues with security and stuff. It was for free. So, every big DJ wanted to play at the Carnival. It's never been about money or anything. You wanted to play at the Carnival because you wanted to be seen. You wanted people to hear your sound.
Yeah, massively, 100%. So saying that, there's a few sound systems that I reckon that if you've never been to Carnival, or if you've only been a couple of times, or you've never checked these sound systems out, you're missing something. So the first sound system I say that is a must go to when you're at Carnival is Abashanti. Now, Abashanti is one of the country's most respected soundsmiths and selectors. It's a proper sound system that punts out dub and roots reggae all day long. It's one of the originators. It's a mainstay at Carnival. And if anybody wants to know what a sound system was about originally, where it came from, and what makes them so iconic, Abashanti is the one to go and check out. I love it. I think it's good. That and Channel 1 are the two that I'd say to go and check out, because Channel 2 also plays out strictly reggae all day long, but it's a bit more party vibe. It's a bit more flag waving. If you've ever been on YouTube and looked up some Lovers Rocks track, often you end up on Mikey Dread's channel. Have you ever been on there before? So Mikey Dread is one of the selectors for Channel 1. So definitely Channel 1's another one of them ones that you need to go and check out. It's massive. We both said it, Rampage, like that's the modern day sound system, innit? Because it crosses genres. They'll play all the biggest Carnival hits, as well as hip hop, R&B, jungle. Everyone will be there. All the youngsters will be there. It'll be pure energy, pure vibes. It'll be hectic though. Huh?
Yes, I was going to say, just be mindful, because once you get stuck in the middle,
hectic.
You ain't coming out until the sound system closes.
Yeah, that's intense, that one.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's your jump around one.
Yeah. One of them for me personally would be Rat Pack as well.
Do you know what? I didn't put Rat Pack on the list because for music genre reasons, but it is definitely one you should go and visit. Definitely, 100%.
It's over from your drum and bass
to
house. It's got so many different things going on in it, and Rat Pack, they've been there from the start as well. They've been there for many a year. So for me, that's my personal. Yeah,
I put down KCC and the Rocking Crew, but for the same reason, because they play a lot of that US house. They've been doing it from the early 90s. That Chicago stuff, and I kind of love that. It's a good experience. If you want an alternative to the reggae, I would always go that way. But like you said, the Rat Pack's a good one for you Lovers Rock fans. If you don't know what Lovers Rock is and you're going to investigate and you like the music, love TKO. That's the one for you Lovers Rock fans and soca fans. Go check that one out. Again, obviously not this year, but if you look up the sound systems and get prepped for next year, it's only a year away, and hopefully we'll all be out in the sun with no rain, raving up the good vibes.
Obviously touched on the fact that there's not going to be a carnival as such this year, but this year they're talking about doing it online. And without looking too much into it myself, I'm still baffled as to how that's going to work, because from what I understand, they're doing like pre-recorded performances and there's going to be all kinds of thing going on. And I might tune into it, depends what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm just kind of a bit lost as to how that's all going to work. And are thousands or even millions of people actually going to tune into it?
It's not the same, is it? It's not the same. Like, the point of it is the vibe. The music is fantastic, don't get me wrong, and it's a celebration of music. But you can't replicate the atmosphere. It's just impossible.
To take it all in.
Yeah.
Have to be. I mean, I know they've done it with Wireless, and they're planning to do it at the V Festival, but it will still never be the same unless you were right there in the middle of
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I'd rather just like listen to music and probably be, with a couple of people in, I don't know, my house or wherever, rather than kind of sitting in front of a computer or, I don't know, some screen, just looking at performances. But anyway, that's just my view.
Yeah, no, I think it's the whole point of Carnival isn't just the music, but it's the ability to celebrate it with everybody. And people are the key. If you can't do it with a congregation of people, then it kind of loses something. I was going to ask George what was his go-to Carnival dish. He said he liked the food. What was your go-to Carnival dish?
You know what? I'd have to go to different stalls to taste the patties.
Boom. There's nothing like a patty at Carnival because it's easy. It's not messy. You haven't got to have a plate straight in. Yeah. You can go beef, veg, chicken. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. But you had to try different ones.
Yeah, that's a great shout. Patty. I was going to say Aki saltfish and a festival, but the problem with it is that you got to find somewhere where you can stand and eat it. Like, it's hard to eat on the move, but don't have that issue with a patty.
No, not at all. So it was
exactly.
It's a great shout. Do you know what? It's one of the things that when I moved to where I live now, I live in Chelmsford in Essex, and I went to Sainsbury's because I used to just walk into my Sainsbury's when I lived in South and just buy a patty, and I could leave it in the fridge and cook it when I wanted it. And when I went in there and I said to the woman, where do I get the patties? And she sent me over to the Cornish pasties. I was lost. You know, the little things that you miss. You just think, what am I doing here with Cornish pasties? Like, I don't want a ginsters. I want a patty.
It's true. But you know what? Also, with your patty, even though it's not something I drink on a regular basis at all, but you had to have the red stripe.
Got to have a red stripe.
You had to have a few red stripes in your pocket.
Yeah, or a Guinness punch. I do like a nice Guinness punch at Carnival as well. But it's all part of the experience. I've always been one of those things, you know, when you're talking to someone, you order a Chinese and they order chips to go with it. That's cool, but I kind of feel like if you're going to do it, embrace it. Have the noodles and the rice, don't go with the chips. And I feel like that at Carnival. If you're going to go Carnival, embrace it. Like, you don't have to have Caribbean food, but why not give it a go? If you've never had it before, why not give it a go? So, much love. But, it's going to be a shame that we're missing Carnival this year. I suppose we should note that there are other carnivals you can visit around the country. Birmingham has a really big West Indian carnival. Leicester has one. There's a big one in Cardiff. There's one in Leeds. If you feel bold, get on a plane. The carnival of all carnivals is Trinidad. That's the one that everybody should go and check out if you are a fan of the music and genre. It's something that I've never done. I've always dreamt of doing it, and it might be something I do next year for my 40th. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Guys, thank you very much for having a brief chat with me about Carnival and giving us your background on Carnival. Please do listen to our playlist. There's lots of famous Carnival tracks on there. You can get it on iTunes and Spotify. If you want to chat to us, you can hit us up on Instagram, which is Influenced Music Podcast. Or you can hit us up on our blog, which is www.influencepodcast.co.uk. George, Mark, hope to have you back soon for upcoming episodes. Mark, I know you're joining me to talk about our favourite live performances. That episode's coming very, very shortly. George, we're going to discuss a few things that we've got on a pipeline, a couple of shows we might curate, and maybe some garage material we might be working on as well, coming in the near future. So thank you very much for listening, and we hope to catch you all soon. Take care, guys.
Influence Music Podcast, exploring new music and making connections back to previous musical generations via panel debates, conversations and interviews with artists, enthusiasts and media insiders.